When God speaks a word, He means it. And when He speaks it, He does it. But so many at times we forget what God has spoken and be ruled by the situation around us. We look in Mark chapter 14 verse 28, when Jesus was about to be crucified, when He was going to be handed over to be crucified. In verse 28, Jesus tells the disciples, "After I have been raised, I will go before you to Galilee." So now Jesus is already telling His disciples, okay, I'm going to die, but I'm going to be raised. After I'm raised, I'm going to go ahead of you to Galilee. Now Jesus had given them a word. They were going to see the crucifixion of Jesus. Many of them would be scattered, but Jesus already gives them a promise of what's going to be happening. And what would the disciples be seeing? Jesus raised back to life. So Jesus' crucifixion would not be the end, but it would be the beginning of something new. So Jesus had already spoken His word, but the disciples forget it. The moment they see the crucifixion, the moment Jesus is arrested, everything is forgotten. And sometimes in our crisis, we forget what God speaks over our lives. Today I want to tell you, remember, if God has spoken, He will do it. We just need to keep reminding ourselves to hold on to what God has spoken. When you look into Mark chapter 16, in verses 2 and 3, very early in the morning on the first day of the week, they came to the tomb when the sun had risen, and they said among themselves, "Who will roll away the stone from the door of the tomb for us?" Now, Jesus had said, or Jesus has spoken that He's going to be raised, but the disciples are going back to the tomb to see Jesus in the tomb. Jesus has given a word, but they've forgotten it. They are going to search Jesus in the tomb. So many of us move in the same way, forgetting what God has spoken, keeping our eyes on what's happening, and just broken down by those things. We look into Numbers. When you look into Numbers, God had spoken to the nation of Israel that He would take them into the promised land, a land flowing with milk and honey. Now we see that 12 spies were sent to spy out the promised land. They were sent to spy out that land. And from that 12 spies, 10 of them forget what God has spoken. And see what they say in Numbers chapter 13 verse 31 onwards. "But the men who had gone out with him said, 'We are not able to go up against the people, for they are stronger than we.'" Now God had said, "I'm giving it to you." When you read Numbers 13 verse 2, He said, "Send men to spy out the land of Canaan, which I am giving to the children of Israel." I'm giving it to the children of Israel. But these 10 spies, they don't keep that in mind. They forget the word, the promise of God. And they say, "They are stronger than we." And they gave the children of Israel a bad report of the land which they had spied out, saying, "The land through which we have gone has spies is a land that devours its inhabitants, and all the people whom we saw in it are of great stature." So they begin to see and live by what they see. They completely forget the promise of God. But Joshua and Caleb, they held on to the promise of God. They begin to say, "We will take that land. We will do it. If God is with us, we will do it. We will take it." You see, if God has spoken a promise, He will do it. Today I want to encourage you. Don't let your circumstances tell you what to believe. Believe what God has spoken. If He has spoken a promise, if He has spoken a word over your life, He will bring it to pass. He spoke to the people of Israel that He would take them to the promised land. He brought it to pass. Today we see the nation of Israel in that promised land. Jesus spoke to His disciples, "I will be raised," and He was raised. Today I want to tell you who's watching. God, if He has spoken over you, He will bring it to pass. What He has said, He will do. I want you to be encouraged. Don't look at your situation. Look to God. Believe in what God says, because His word is eternal. His word stands. Your situation will be temporary. He is for eternity. God bless you.